Thank you, everyone, and such a lovely topic. And as we kind of wrap up today, sustainability is actually a very hard-pressed word. Everybody uses it, but how much of a clarity we all have for it is actually where this discussion starts. And as we were discussing earlier also before the panel, that all of you have some of your founders, some of your leading sustainability initiatives in your organization, which are large organizations. The format is different, people are different, it's a lot of operational chaos also. So how do you do it? So let's start the conversation from there, that in your roles, how does sustainability figure or feature, and what is it that you do which makes it so unique? So let's start from you, Annie.
Oh, you didn't have one? It's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. For me, I think one of our kind of key takeaways for sustainability at Reloved is all about messaging. It's about education, and it's about raising awareness. I think personally, a lot of people make sustainable choices when it comes to drinking out of glass bottles, recyclable bottles, using your recyclable waste bags or shopping bags. But when it comes to fashion, I think when it comes to fashion, it's the fast fashion is really kind of overtaking the retail fashion industry. And it takes up more carbon than maritime and domestic flights alone. And I think for me, it's getting that messaging out there and educating our customers.
Correct. So Araceli, before we hear you, let's do one big organization and one founder-based answer, just to make it more interesting. Let's hear Parul then.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I think what we were talking before the panel started is that this topic is very close to everyone's heart. And I would like to reiterate that green or sustainability is not about a theme. It's not about something which is a short-term goal. It's actually a choice that is very much embedded in a DNA of an organization. It's a way of doing business. It's something which is very scalable, very measurable, and it shows not only the intent, but also living the way of life each day, a way of running the business, operating, is something that what I feel about sustainability, it's ultimately creating a long-term value and loyalty for the organization.
Correct. Back to you. Yeah.
Okay, so whenever we speak about sustainability, because there is so many angles to it,
100%.
I always need to start with the definition, because I think, as you said, there is so many angles to it and people get a little bit lost, right? So I always take my favorite definition from the Brundtland Commission from the United Nations. So we are meeting the needs that we have today in the present without compromising without compromising the needs of the future generations. So based on that, I started up Goshopia with a very strong focus on the values. And that's our guiding light, or North Star, for whatever we do. We have 3, but it's in reality 4. 3 values is the 3S: slow, sustainable, and socially responsible. There is a 4th one, which is style, because of course clothes need to be looking beautiful and nice, and you need to really want to get on them, right?
Correct.
So those are our values, our guiding stars for whatever. So that would be
Amazing.
How we do it.
And I think for Thomas, it just gets more difficult because there's so much of inventory to handle, and it's, yeah.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. So, usually in large organizations, you have 2 approaches to sustainability. Either you can deliver compliance, or you can deliver impact. And when it comes to retail, there is a huge gap between compliance and impact. Why? Because scope 1 and scope 2 emissions are only 2% of our emissions, approximately. So if we want to deliver impact, we need to deliver beyond compliance. So my job is to deliver impact. And the best way for a company like Virgin Megastore to deliver impact is to go into circular economy. So my job is to deliver scalable and profitable circular economy businesses. But I have a hidden agenda. I use my role at Virgin Megastore to deliver another type of impact, which is a cultural impact. As you mentioned, one of the main challenges of sustainability is to make it desirable, is to make people want sustainable products. And when you have most of the companies spending billions of dollars in telling you you need the new product, we need to work together to make sustainability the next desirable product. And this is what I want to achieve at Virgin Megastore, is to use the power of the brand to make it more socially acceptable to have a second-hand iPhone, for instance. So this is the cultural impact part.
Correct, 100%. So from a big inventory to a business which you both have built on sustainability, it's not about a department that you are running. You are building the entire business model on sustainability for both of you, Annie and Araceli. So how difficult or how challenging it is? Like, is human a challenge? Is inventory a challenge? Is both a challenge? Like, is it a world of challenges that you have to deal with every day? So if you can take it one by one.
So the challenge for us maybe is still that we need more education for people to understand what we are doing, what it's about. It is difficult. Today's market is ferocious. It's really, really, you know, like there's so much competition. There's so much noise. If you
100%.
and in our case, what we advocate is totally different. We advocate slow down, take your pace, choose what really fits you. What's your story? What do you want to? How do you want to represent yourself? You know, when you're dressing, when you're doing your daily choices. So we are kind of like against the grain totally. You know, the flow is going like that, and we're going, no, let's actually become back again human-centric. We don't need so much of everything. We actually need less of better quality, and that actually represents us. And so for us, that's the challenge, because we are going kind of like against what everybody else may be doing. But it is needed. It is also, I think, is a way to go in the future. Because right now, I think we are in a very uniform-like. If you see, go to the shops, they are pretty much the same. There is a reason for it, because there is some mood boards and things that they buy before they're creating the collection. So there is certain uniformity, no matter what brand you look at, because that is what is supposed to be on trend. And in our case, we're not working with trends. We are breaking that. We are actually focusing on good fit, good quality, longevity. And, you know, because this is low fashion, we can do it even to your needs, you know, if required. So it's very, very different. So that's the challenge, because we are basically offering a systemic change.
Correct.
And not everybody is understanding what is it about.
Correct. So basically, you're asking the world and the consumers to slow down. Yeah, and for Annie, I think it's even more challenging because you are not curating something which is fresh off the, the designer's table, but you're actually stocking up seconds. So you have to make the consumer understand the quality part of things, because I know there's always a misconception going on when it comes to thrift buying.
Yeah, so second-hand shopping in the UAE is definitely a trend that's becoming more popular here. We've seen it grow very quickly in Europe, America, and places like Australia. Here in the UAE, we have a lot of the community that have very high quality products when it comes to furniture or clothing. And for us, it's not necessarily the inventory that is the problem. We have very high quality products. It's making sure that people are aware of what's out there and choosing to maybe buy secondhand rather than going to the shop, for example. And I think retailers sometimes don't understand that people don't want a lot of quantity, they want quality, and they want to be making smarter choices. So I do think when it comes to sustainable shopping, it's definitely the way of the future, and it's very up and coming. It's just making sure all the generations and individuals are making those choices and also have those platforms to shop on.
100%. So, Parul, coming to you, like as they described, they are operating a business model where they're talking directly to the consumers, they're making them aware. But for you, it is scale that you are dealing with, and especially food and grocery, which is like an everyday buy. So, how do you still bridge the gap, be sustainable, and tell your consumers that you have to shop, but consciously? So, that's a bigger challenge at your hand. Yeah.
I think very rightly raised, because sometimes we think that sustainability is not something which is scalable. In fact, Grandiose is an example how it can be done with a scale. We do sustainability like design, and still we are running it fairly well with 50 stores across UAE.
Wow.
We were one among the first retailers who actually stopped and phased out the plastic bags in 2018. And since then, the journey has only strengthened. And there are 2-3 misconceptions or myths that I would like to break. The first one is it cannot be scalable. It's very much scalable, and Grandiose is an example for that. Another thing that people feel that it's a solo journey. It's not a solo journey. Let me tell you and throw a number of 10,000 customers who each day recycle bottles with Grandiose. And that's a sizable number. We have around 4.7 million bottles which have been recycled. And that kind of a scale comes naturally when you are putting it as a part of your process. Another thing that probably with a misconception is that you do it as an internal goal. When we started to phase out the plastic bags, that was a very clear message to our suppliers, to our vendors, to our customers, that this is the way that we are taking, the path that we're taking. And I see not only customers and suppliers, but also the technology partners joining hands with us and making it scalable. So for me, when you say the slow part, I think I speak with a lot of responsibility that it is very much scalable, and we're still going very, very strong with that.
Amazing, amazing. So from that point of view, Thomas, you have to deal with a bigger ecosystem. There are vendors, as she touched upon. You have to bring in a lot of players also when you are scaling up and you are building sustainability across a large organization. But from your point of view, over the years, how has the learning been? Like, is it like very easy to bring everybody, like-minded people on the ecosystem together? Or is it a lot of convincing when it comes to budgeting, bringing everybody together? So what's your POV on that?
Yeah, I really like this question about the ecosystem and the system, because when you think about it, most of us, we heard culture, it's strategy for breakfast. And actually, if we take the old take, make, waste model, where we take new resources from the planet to make new products, to dispose them, we can see that this culture depends on a very strong system. And a system, so let's take, for instance, the launch of a new iPhone. Every year, you will have a new iPhone. Every year, months in advance, Apple will start investing literally billions of dollars in this new iPhone. Every year, you will have people speculating about what would be the new feature. You have people queuing. You will have scarcity organized. You will have resellers. If you are an alien discovering our planet, you will think that the launch of an iPhone is just like Christmas. It's like a cultural event. And this culture is built around a system of advertising, of PR, of bloggers, of influencers, of producers, etc. Meaning, if we want to create a new system, if we want to offer a new culture where we have slow fashion, for instance, we need a system. We need a system where we connect people, where we propose something different. And today we think that, it's only natural to desire a new iPhone. But if it's so natural, why Apple is investing billions of dollars in communication. That means it's not so natural, and we integrated it as part of our culture. So by building ecosystems, when you win in promoting circular economy, I win too, because we promote different ways of consuming. And this is why this ecosystem is so important. So it's not only is it possible or is it easy to build a system, it's the only way to win.
Yeah, 100%. So keeping that in mind, I wanted to know from all of you, what are the benchmarks or the measures that you see? Is it human indicators? Is it your consumers, how much they have become loyal to you over the years, or some way where you understand that the gap has been bridged and you have achieved, I wouldn't quantify it, but you have achieved somewhere the sustainability goals that you set out to achieve. So if we can start from you, Annie, and then we'll go to all of them.
Yes, so from Relove's perspective, we have launched a carbon calculator. So we can see how much carbon we are saving for the planet each month. And it's actually become one of our favorite segments of our social media. We get a lot of interest in that. And we try and make it resonate with the customer. So, for example, if you're not in sustainability, you might not know how much CO2 is equivalent to. So, for example, last month we saved, I think it was around 1,500 CO2 carbon emissions, which is equivalent to charging an iPhone 18,000 times. Or we also do kind of metrics on how many kilometers were driven, how many houses were ran with electricity and saved. And we do those comparisons so people can really relate to that. So we have a carbon calculator basically publicly so people can work out if they buy this item secondhand rather than new, how much are they helping the environment.
Correct. Thomas, you want to go after this? Yeah.
So carbon definitely is one of our main metrics too. Is the one that is shared across the industry, but also in terms of compliance is the one you need to disclose. I think it's very important that groups like us go up to estimating the scope 3 because this is where your carbon footprint is. And indeed, having an understanding of where your carbon footprint is what matters most. So, for instance, if I sell a refurbished phone, the carbon footprint will be a tenth of a new phone after refurbishment, after repair, etc. So our main objective, basically, is to continue doing business, but to have a share of business of low carbon products higher, going higher every year.
Okay, amazing. Yes, Sarasali.
So in our case, because we work with very small artisans and slow ateliers, small makers, you cannot add them to the equation of like, you calculate this or that. But we work differently. We work in a very human-to-human scale. For us, our designers are like family, and we help each other as a family. So the way that we measure impact is how we know that we are supporting them, and how, for example, when you learn that, other artisans in the village had to go to live in Bogota because they couldn't keep the livelihoods afloat, but I'm able to stay. That is the way we measure impact, and that's what really makes us happy, and we all support, and that's the objective. So it's everything back to very human scale.
Yeah.
Because for them it's difficult to measure these kind of things, but we are the technological platform for them to kind of like come to market and make it easier, because that's also another hurdle that they have. They do not have big budgets. They are slow makers, they are artisans. You cannot really ask them like, So we work with what we have, but we know that we are impacting their lives and their family lives by belonging to our own Goshopia family.
100%. Yes, Parul.
At Grandiose, we have a very unique feature. All our shopping baskets and trolleys are made of ocean waste material.
Wow.
that's something that we are very proud of in terms of the numbers. We take pride in preventing 700,000 CO2 emission. These are huge numbers, and what makes us going is not only our own commitment towards the sustainability objective, and of course the communication, the education that we have been investing in, but also in terms of the customers who have become more planet friendly, who are more aware, the overall global regulatory process, and a very, very strong intent and focus by the UAE government. So I think it's just that all the things are coming into place when it comes to sustainability initiatives led by individuals, led by corporates, and also led by the government.
Amazing. So the second last question, I know time's up, but I have a surprise question for all four of you. Before that, I wanted to know one thing about the business, which is that ultimately you have to punch in growth. You are founders, so at least you have mercy there, but both of them have a hard role to play for their organizations. They have to show growth. So in that deal, did you have to kind of trade off something just to be sustainable? If you can talk from a very personal point of view. We'll start with you, Parul.
So any initiative that you take, it always would have some cost, some kind of cost-benefit analysis. But my experience at Grandiose has been that whenever we have taken a step with an intent to do something in this direction, our suppliers have actually joined hands with us. And over a period of time, it's not a cost. It's not actually an investment. It's actually something which is kind of a shared goal. As I said, the technology partners, the suppliers, they have come together. And the last piece that always is the most exhilarating, that the customers, the loyal customers, actually they join in. And therefore, I would say, if I have to call a trade-off, probably the only thing that we need to overcome ever as corporates is our own inhibition. We see when we start making a change, the village comes together.
Amazing. Yes, Thomas, let's hear it from you.
So I think you can consider there is a trade-off only if you think that your purpose is to sell new products. But if you step back and you define what is your purpose, so for instance at Virgin Megastore, we say our purpose is to enable fun experiences. You discover that you can challenge the status quo and have different ways of delivering the same purpose. So for instance, instead of selling you a karaoke machine, I can rent you a karaoke machine and you can have exactly the same fun with low carbon. Once you define your purpose, it's not about trade-off anymore. It's about how you deliver it in a better way.
100%. Yes.
So we do, though, have trade-offs.
Pain of being a founder.
Because we are working with the fact that we want to pay for fair wages. You want good quality material. We don't use plastic. All these comes at a cost. So it is true, sustainability is more expensive than polyester, whatever. So for us, it's the margins, because you still need to be in the market. So we have lower margins than other people in the fashion industry. But it's part of our DNA, is who we are. We wouldn't change it for the world. So still, we keep our guns on it.
100%. Yes, Anne.
I think for Reloved, it's making sure we're working with the right people and ensuring their values meet ours. Otherwise, we haven't, as of yet, had to make too many trade-offs.
Amazing. So the last surprise question for all four of you. This panel was all about the green spark, right? All of you personally had a green spark moment, definitely, which pushed you to do what you are doing today. So just for the audience, what is it that you are doing on a personal level to be sustainable at home, in your personal space, in your professional journey? So let's go that route and just hear it, just to inspire everybody to think green. Yes, you want to go, Annie? Yeah.
So I am living by my business, and it's definitely selling my unwanted items, and also where I can, trying to also shop secondhand. I have a young toddler who constantly is growing out of items of clothing, going through toys, every month, every other month, etc. So it's just trying to make those smart choices when it comes to retail.
Amazing, amazing. Yes, Araceli. Yeah.
In my case, I'm very mindful about what choices we do at home. And on top of that, I'm also country coordinator for Fashion Revolution UAE, which is our community. We support designers, students, hobbies, people that want to learn more and educate themselves about sustainability in fashion and how we can change this industry from the new generations coming up. And that's where my heart is. So I spend a good chunk of time and sometimes money also on that purpose.
Amazing.
Yeah, but it's something that I do with pleasure because I see that it is the future, really. That's how, you plant the seed and in the future you get to see.
100%. Yes, Thomas.
Yeah, so on a personal note, I'm part of an NGO called the Climate Fresk, which educate about global warming, and I use that actually to educate people, not only in schools, but also in my company. So the full staff went through this climate change education. I became vegetarian, and as you can hear, I'm French, so food is kind of a big topic here. I drive a Nissan Micra now. I sold my Jeep to drive a Micra. My kids hate me for that, but they will love it at some point of time. But I think the biggest change I made is actually when I realized that most of my time was spent at work. So all these changes in my personal life are meaningless if I don't act at work. So the biggest changes I made is to come at work, to pivot, to propose a sustainability strategy and to implement it.
Amazing. And it shows with what you have done with Virgin. Yeah. Yes, Parul.
I think very rightly said by Thomas, most of our time is spent with our stakeholders at our office, at our workplace. And it's amazing how it can inspire your personal choices. When I see the customers actually loading bags of plastic bottles in their booths and coming to the store, each and every store has a machine where we recycle this. When I see that, it personally inspires me, and I think that's a choice that we are making, all of us are making, and that side of the room to make the world and the planet a better place. And I think personal choices are something that we do in every day of life. Sometimes it comes subconsciously, not as a choice, but now as a habit, as a second skin. So that's something that I think all of us can be mindful of.
Yeah, 100%. I think we all have inspired everyone gathered here today. Thank you for the lovely panel, and I think we can go on talking about Green Spark the whole day, but I would rather wrap up and we'll take it outside. So anybody wants to know more from these lovely people, happy to kind of connect and take it forward. Thank you once again for joining, taking out time for us.